He came quietly in the middle of the night, but when Xiao Zhan stepped into that hospital room, the world stopped. One look, one tear, and silence broke millions of hearts. Shanghai, a city wrapped in neon lights, had never felt so heavy. It was supposed to be a night of triumph. Wang Yibo's last endurance race of the year, his team's big moment. The roar of engines, the flash of cameras, the thrill of speed. But then, everything changed. A single sound, the screech of tires, collision, the kind that makes your heart drop before you even know what's happened. Fans who were watching the live stream froze. Car #85. That's Yibo's car, someone screamed. Panic spread faster than fire. The track went silent. Moments later, the news confirmed the worst. Wang Yibo's Audi R8 had spun out of control during the 8-hour Shanghai endurance race. The impact was brutal. Rescue crews rushed to the scene, and cameras caught only a glimpse: shattered glass, smoke, and Yibo being helped out, his arm hanging limp. That night, millions of fans around the world couldn't sleep. The hashtags trended endlessly. #Pray for Wang Yibo. #Stay strong Yibo. His agency released a short statement. Minor injuries, under observation. But fans knew better. They saw the footage. They saw the pain in his face. And one person who saw it too was Xiao Zhan. He didn't post, didn't speak. But sources said he made one call. Just one. And the moment that call went through, the sound of his trembling voice would later become the talk of the world. Now, days later, he came in person. The hospital was quiet that night. The corridors echoed with soft footsteps and the hum of fluorescent lights. Nurses whispered to each other when they saw a tall figure enter the private ward. Mask on, cap low, accompanied by only one assistant. It was Xiao Zhan, and he was carrying something, a small white paper bag with a thermos inside. He didn't want attention. He came at 1:45 a.m. when most visitors were gone. When he asked to see Yibo, the nurse hesitated for a moment before quietly nodding. "He's awake," she said softly. When the door opened, it was as if the world stopped. Yibo turned his head slowly, eyes tired, skin pale, arm in a cast. For a moment, they just stared, and then Yibo's lips curved slightly. "You came," he whispered, voice breaking. Xiao Zhan's throat tightened. "Of course I came," he said quietly. "You think I wouldn't?" He placed the thermos on the bedside table. "It's ginger soup. You still hate hospitals." Yibo gave a weak laugh, the kind that carried more pain than humor. "You remembered." Silence again. But this time it wasn't awkward. It was full of everything they never said, everything that lingered between them for years. The two of them sat there for almost an hour. No words, just presence. At one point, Yibo's voice cracked as he said, "I thought it would be my last race." Xiao Zhan frowned. "Don't say that." "But it could have been," Yibo whispered. "The moment the car spun, I saw everything flash before me. The noise, then nothing." His voice trailed off, and tears welled in his eyes. Xiao Zhan reached out, gripping his uninjured hand. "Hey," he said softly, "you're still here. That's what matters. You scared everyone. You scared me." And then, for the first time, Yibo broke. He cried. Not loud, not dramatic, just quiet sobs that shook his shoulders. Xiao Zhan didn't say a word. He just stayed there, holding him like he used to during those endless nights of filming when exhaustion hit them both. When Yibo finally stopped, Xiao Zhan smiled faintly. "You're allowed to rest, you know. You don't always have to be strong." Yibo looked at him, eyes wet. "You haven't changed." "And you," Xiao Zhan replied, "still drive me crazy." They both laughed softly. For a moment, it felt like time had turned back, to simpler days, to shared dreams, and unspoken comfort. Outside, the nurses watching through the small glass window had tears in their eyes. Later, one of them would post anonymously. When they looked at each other, it felt like everything unspoken between them was finally healed. Morning came too soon. The first rays of sunlight painted the walls in gold. Yibo had drifted to sleep again, his face finally at peace. Xiao Zhan stood up quietly. He looked around the room. The four drip, the cast, the bandages, and his eyes softened. On the table, he placed a folded note and whispered, "You'll be fine." Just as he turned to leave, he heard a faint voice behind him. Zhanji. He stopped, his heart catching. Thank you, Yibo whispered. Xiao Zhan turned back, his lips trembling slightly. You don't have to thank me, he said. Just promise me one thing. Don't scare me like that again. Yibo smiled weakly. No promises. And for the first time in weeks, Xiao Zhan laughed. It was soft, broken, but real. When he stepped outside, the cold morning air hit him like a memory. Dozens of fans were already waiting, holding banners, whispering prayers. Reporters tried to approach, but he only said one sentence. He's strong. He'll be back soon. Then, without another word, he left, his figure fading into the light of dawn. Within hours, photos surfaced online. A shadowed image of Xiao Zhan's silhouette by the hospital gate. A nurse's message confirming that he stayed the entire night. The fandom exploded. Hashtag Xiao Zhan at hospital and hashtag Yibo recovery climbed to the top of trending charts. Fans cried, laughed, and whispered, maybe this is fate. But behind all the noise, one truth remained. That in a world obsessed with fame, two men chose something purer, care. That night in Shanghai wasn't about headlines or nostalgia. It was about human connection, about showing up for someone when the cameras are gone, when fame fades, when only heart remains. For millions of fans, it became a symbol of healing, a reminder that kindness doesn't need witnesses, and that some bonds, no matter how tested by time, distance, or silence, never truly break. So when you think about that night, imagine this. A quiet room, a man holding another's hand, a note that says don't give up, and two souls finding peace in the place where pain once lived. Because in the end, that's not a story about celebrities. It's a story about humanity, forgiveness, and love that refuses to fade. So, what do you think, drama lovers? Was it destiny, coincidence, or was something written long before we ever knew? Stay tuned for more stories, only on K-Pop World.